All right, let's just cut right to it. If you are online at all, you absolutely cannot escape the noise around testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT. It is without a doubt one of the biggest and most polarizing debates in men's health right now.
And the pitch, well, the pitch is seductive, isn't it? The influencers, the online clinics, they're all selling TRT as this magic bullet, the ultimate biohack that'll torch your brain fog, give you boundless energy, and help you pack on muscle. It's sold as a simple fix for, well, everything. But what's the catch? To figure that out, we have to ignore all the hype for a second and look at the absolutely incredible machinery that's already running inside your body. We need to talk about your body's own command and control center for hormones.
Now, it's got a mouthful of a name, the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis. We'll just call it the HPG axis. The best way to think about it is like a super smart thermostat for your hormones. It's this beautiful, automated system that is constantly working to keep your testosterone levels in that perfect sweet spot.
So how's it work? Well, it's basically this elegant feedback loop. Your brain is the boss. It senses levels are dipping, so it sends a signal, a message, down to the testes. The testes get the message, and boom, they start producing testosterone. Then, as the levels rise back into the normal range, the brain sees that and it tells the factory to slow down. It's a constant, perfectly tuned conversation. Which brings us to the million-dollar question. What do you think happens when you crash that conversation? When you just decide to dump a whole bunch of external testosterone right into the middle of that finely tuned system?
The answer is shockingly simple. The whole system just shuts down. Your brain sees this massive flood of testosterone, panics, and thinks, whoa, we are way over budget, and immediately stops sending the signal to produce any more. Your body's own testosterone factory, it just closes up shop, lights out. So if it literally turns off your natural production, you have to ask, who on earth is this stuff actually for? To answer that, we have to get away from the internet forums and into the cold, hard, clinical reality. And here's the truth. TRT isn't a supplement. It's not a lifestyle drug. It is a vital, life-changing medicine for men with a very specific diagnosed medical condition called hypogonadism. This means, for actual biological reasons, their bodies simply can't make enough testosterone. It is not and was never intended for healthy guys who might feel a little sluggish because of bad sleep or stress.
And look, this isn't just my opinion. The official 2018 Endocrine Society Clinical Practice Guideline, this is the rulebook for doctors, is crystal clear. To get a diagnosis, you need unequivocally low testosterone on at least 2 different blood tests taken in the morning. There's a reason the standard is so strict.
But here's where the story gets really disturbing. Because what those guidelines say and what's actually happening out there in the real world, well, they're 2 completely different stories.
And we know this because of a huge, landmark study from 2023 published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA Internal Medicine. Researchers dug into the prescription data for young men, and what they uncovered is frankly pretty staggering. Just look at this graph from the study. It shows that a huge percentage of young men are being put on testosterone without even meeting the bare minimum diagnostic criteria. They aren't getting the 2 required tests. They're being handed a powerful system-altering drug, often without a confirmed medical reason. And the risks of that gamble? They're severe. We're talking about testicular atrophy. Yes, that means shrinkage. We're talking about potentially permanent infertility. And then there's stuff like erythrocytosis, a fancy word for your blood getting dangerously thick and raising your risk of a stroke, and gynecomastia. These aren't temporary inconveniences. These are lifelong consequences.
So you end up with 2 completely different realities. For the man who actually needs it, TRT is a medical miracle. It restores a vital function. It is essential. But for the healthy guy just looking for a boost, it does the exact opposite. It shuts his own system down and puts his future fertility on the line. It's a dangerous, dangerous gamble.
So that brings us back to our original question. Is TRT a biohack or is it a body wreck? Well, once you strip away all the slick marketing and just look at the science, the data, the picture becomes incredibly clear.
And here is the bottom line. For a man with true diagnosed hypogonadism, TRT is a necessary and life-changing therapy. But for the huge number of healthy men being lured in by the promise of a simple hack, it's a reckless shortcut that trades a temporary feeling for a very real risk of permanent damage. And that's really the only question that matters in the end. When you weigh the promises you see online against the hard biological evidence, you have to ask yourself,
Is a temporary feeling of optimization really worth a permanent biological price tag?